Summer loving had me a blast.
Oh dear.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast Wandering Works for Us. We are Shelley and Beth, a married couple living in Portugal and traveling the world. These are our stories. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our podcast Wandering Works for Us. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Beth.
And we have just gotten back from our latest adventures.
We did. We went to Italy, Florence to be precise, and then we went to Paris.
A very short trip to Paris.
Very.
But we are back and we've been recuperating in this lovely fall weather we're having.
Yes, it is raining like there's no tomorrow outside, and it's been raining pretty much every day.
For
lately.
Like 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, and it's going to go for another week, I think. But that's not what we're here to talk to you about. We're here to talk to you about a few weeks back when it was sunny and hot.
And so beautiful.
It was.
Nice summer nights. Summer loving had me a blast.
Oh, dear. We're going to talk about Festas.
Festas. Not for the rest of us.
Funny.
This August, our town, Serra del Rei, put on their Festas, their big one that they do in the summertime. And here in Portugal, most little towns and villages do put on a Festas during the summer. So not only is it a party, it's like a homecoming. A lot of people come home during the month of July, August, September to see family and to spend a vacation, but they also come back for the parties that everyone has.
They do, and they time their visits around whenever their town that they grew up in is going to have their Festas. Is it Festas or is it Festas?
It's probably Festas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in Portuguese classes now, so we're getting a little better.
Just a little bit, yes.
Inch by inch.
So much is happening right now. Yeah, this summer we got to participate in Festas. When we arrived here in March, there was a Festas planned in May. It was around the end of May. Mm-hmm. And it was in honor of the church that is sort of in the next town over, but it used to be part of our community. So they have a festival that raises money for that church.
And it's in honor of Nossa Senhora do... Is this Amparo?
I don't know.
Amparo.
Is that one the one in May?
Yes, that's the one in May.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually based on a saint. And they use the party to raise money for certain events. And when we were here in May, we wanted to participate. But the nights that we decided to go, it was cold and windy, and it had been raining, and we had a 20-minute walk ahead of us just to get there, and so we kind of backed out of it. But we were talking to our friend Natalie, who has a shop down the street, and she's been here for 20 years and married to a Portuguese man, and she told us, okay, the one in August, you're either in or out.
Meaning you participate and you go to stuff, or get out of town, because it is loud.
It is loud, and it goes
4
on
days.
For 4 days. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Me either.
But yeah, 4 days of party is plenty. I think by the end of it, I was walking back from the cafe, and our neighbor stopped and said, "Aren't you going to the Festas?" And I was like, "I've done this for 3 days. I'm not doing a fourth one."
It was a lot.
It was a lot. But this year's Festas was put on by the Serrana Co-op that's right across the street from us, and they own the cafe that's over there, and they have a soccer team, and they have gymnastics classes and Pilates. It's just a neat community center. But that particular organization had been raising money for the football field. I don't know if we talked about the football field before.
I don't know if we did or not, but we have a local team and a quite nice football field.
We do now, yes. 'Cause they put artificial turf down on this football field. And that is not inexpensive.
No, it is not.
So they have been raising money for quite some time to do it. And this summer they put it in, and I'm sorry, I'm distracted because now the dog has decided to play over on the rug. But this summer they put in the field, and we went in honor when they dedicated it and had
a party.
Yep, they had a party because you have a party for everything. And we got free lunch and free beer during lunchtime and celebrated with them. But this was also to raise more money for the football field.
Yeah, they still have work to do to the food area, the stands, the bathrooms, the locker rooms. There's a building that kind of houses all that, and they're still working on it.
So, what does this Festas have that no one else has?
Well, first of all, let's talk about what it's not. Festas means festival, and lights start going up in town, and people start preparing for it, and you start, the excitement's kind of palpable. And in your head, if you're from the U.S. and you haven't experienced these before, you might be thinking, like the North Carolina State Fair or any other state or city fair in the United States. But it is not like that at all.
No.
It is more about bringing the community together and having meals every night. And there are some booths where you can buy things during the day, but then most of the action is the bands that they book at night.
And not just at night, but like late at night. Like they have a band and a DJ every single night. The band doesn't get started till about 10 at night.
Or 10:30.
Maybe 10:30. It depends on how late the dinners go or what people are doing. But about 10:30. And this is a full-on show. I was amazed at what I saw.
Yeah.
It's not just, some cute local band, or maybe it is. I'm not real sure. But they bring in these huge production acts. It's a large stage with at least 5 band members playing instruments, backup singers, backup dancers, the video and light shows.
Yes.
It is huge.
The production is amazing, and it's a different one each night. So they come in for one night and do this show, and my theory is if they travel around to all the, they get booked for a bunch of different festas during the summer and fall, and they travel around and do those for many weekends in a row.
That must be what they do. It has to be.
But they were great.
Oh, they were awesome. I mean, even that first night, it was Thursday night, and Eli was with us, and we had to get up early in the morning and take him to the airport. So we didn't participate too much that first night on Thursday night. But Friday night, we decided to go out and see what it was all about. And it was loud, and people were dancing, and it was crowded, and it was just, and the majority of it was in Portuguese, of course. But it was such a fun, free concert.
Yeah. And it's all ages. It's the grandmoms and granddads are sitting along the walls, and the younger folks are out there dancing. Okay, some of the grandmom and granddads are out there dancing too.
Out there dancing.
Yeah. And then there's kids running around, and it was really fun.
And in the background, they have set up 2 bars. They had a beer cart and a regular bar, and they had a cart that was selling like hamburgers and things like that. They had popcorn and cotton candy, just like a carnival. They had foosball tables and air hockey tables for the kids to play on. But that was all the games. That was it. That's the only thing that was set up.
Yeah.
The majority of the area was reserved for dancing and watching the band.
Yeah.
And so, as part of this community, we wanted to help out in some way because all of Festas is volunteer work. Nobody's really getting paid to do this, except maybe the bands. I think they have to get paid.
Yeah. But also, even the items, the stage, the food, all of that, it's donated.
Yes. So it's donated to raise money. And every single night, our community puts on a dinner. And they have a full menu. So there's chicken, there's lamb, there's a fish dish. You get to order off the menu and order wine. And it's a sit-down dinner. It's really nice.
It is.
And we had planned ours for Saturday night because on Saturday, we volunteered to peel potatoes.
Oh, we did.
We wanted to be part of the community and show that we wanted to support what was going on. And so we asked one of the leaders of the festival, his name is Caesar, he's Natalie's husband, if we could help out in some way. And they were like, well, can you peel potatoes and carrots? Can you chop garlic? Can you make desserts? And I was thinking, I'm not making a dessert for all these Portuguese people. That's pressure.
That are used to these great pastries and things.
Yes, all these great pastries. And I show up with my Cool Whip Mississippi mud pie Oreo cake. I don't think that's going to fly. I would not make that, by the way.
Well, you couldn't find the ingredients to make it.
I couldn't find the ingredients here anyway.
So we ended up peeling potatoes. And they told us to show up, and I quote, after lunch. Well, that can kind of mean anything here, from 1 to 3 or so, 4. So we showed up at 2. Is that what we did? We split the difference.
I think we showed up about 2:30.
And we were the first ones there, us and our friend Jeff. So the 3 of us showed up, and there was one person in the kitchen who kind of got us going, and we started peeling potatoes, 20-pound sacks of potatoes. And
we asked him how many, do we need to do for the night? And the guy says 2 or 3 sacks. So that's probably 60 pounds of potatoes right there.
But he didn't know what he was talking about.
He did not. So about an hour later, Caesar and all these other people show up to help out in the kitchen. And about 4 of them sat down with us to help us peel potatoes. And we peeled potatoes for another 2 hours. We must have peeled over 150 pounds of potatoes between them. And they're these wonderful Portuguese citizens who cannot speak English at all. We barely have any Portuguese with us.
And most of them we had seen before.
Yes.
And smiled at and that kind of thing.
And
we just didn't really know them yet.
And so Caesar explained to them while we were there peeling potatoes, because I think they were kind of confused about what we were doing there. And then they were very welcoming and even tried to teach us some Portuguese.
They did.
Hold up a knife and, some faca. We're like, okay, faca. And then, this is a peel. Well, of course, we forgot the words right away. We had no idea. We were just kind of thrown into the mix. But it was such a sweet time to sit there with them and listen to their conversation and try to communicate with us the entire time as we're all peeling potatoes for the community.
And they had a high old time when they found out that Jeff, who speaks a little more Portuguese than we do, is a Scotsman. They wanted to know if he really wore anything under his kilt.
Oh, that was such a cute conversation.
It was adorable.
And, Jeff Scoot has definite opinions about this.
Yes.
But Jeff has some Portuguese, but a lot of it has to be done with kind of hand signals and motions. And, she kept asking, and he was telling her, no, we don't wear anything under the kilt. And then later, part of the family came in, and some of them spoke English, and they were like, she's teasing. She asked you what was under the kilt. And he goes, oh, I know what she said. But it was so sweet. But, people came in and out of the kitchen. One of the grandsons of one of the potato peelers came in to talk to him. And he's going to school in France, and he talked to us for a few minutes in his little bit of English that he has, and I got a chance to practice a little bit of Portuguese with him. So it was the sweetest community event, and we got free beer.
We did. Oh, only in Europe do you appear in a kitchen with a sharp knife to peel all of those potatoes. Is there someone that keeps just bringing you beer? Every time you're empty, they bring you another one.
Yeah, I'd had maybe 3 or 4, but they were small.
They were, but it was great.
So after we finished peeling potatoes, we went back and had a little rest because we had dinner that night. We were going to have dinner. And while we were there peeling potatoes, they were preparing dinner. And we looked around, and there's this huge tub of meat that is marinating in something. And I asked what it was, and they were like, "Oh, it's for the lamb stew, and it's marinating in white wine and red wine and all of these beautiful spices." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to have that for dinner." So 8 o'clock came around, and we all showed up. There were 5 of us there for dinner. And it's a community setting, so it's not an individual table. They have all these picnic tables kind of laid out, and they're marked off with each reservation. And you sit at your table, and then somebody that you don't know may or may not be sitting next to you. Well, the chances of somebody we don't know sitting next to us are pretty good because we don't know a lot of people. But it turns out that the people that were sitting next to us actually were there for homecoming. They had come in to visit relatives, and they were there for the Festas. So we had dinner with them. I had the lamb. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
That is probably my favorite thing now, Portuguese food, is the borrego.
Yeah, it's very good. I also love the black Iberian pork.
Oh, it's really good too.
Yeah.
So we had a lovely dinner.
We did.
And then we headed out thinking that, the band was going to start soon because we had been there for 3 hours eating dinner, as we usually do, or 2 hours because it was an 8 o'clock seating, I believe. And the band didn't start till half an hour later, so we just went up to the cafe and had another beer. We waited.
As we waited.
And then the band came on, and oh, how much fun were they? They sang ABBA songs.
They did. They sang, as Shelley said earlier, mostly in Portuguese, but they did this whole section of their set where they did ABBA songs and sang in English. And they were, again, video everywhere, monitors, just huge monitors, and all of these graphics going and light show going on. And there's, I don't know, 15 or 20 of them on stage.
Yeah, I think we counted almost 20 on stage.
And they're dancing, and it was really fun.
Not to mention the people that are back doing the lights and the sound and all of that. I mean, This is a large crew for a small town festival.
Yeah, we were quite impressed.
And so we danced for a little while, and then, of course, we got tired and went home.
Yeah, we did. But then every night the DJ comes on.
At about 3 a.m.
Yeah, depending on how long the band performs. But it's around 3, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. And they play till, I guess, dawn.
I think they said about 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
People finally started to leave.
Yeah. And there are lots of people, young and old, who do this schedule 4 nights in a row.
I don't know how.
I don't either. But they do.
Because I was exhausted by the last one. I was like, nope, I'm Festas out.
Mm-hmm. But this whole thing, as we said, was to raise money for our football field. And we haven't heard yet how much money we raised, but I'm sure that it was a good amount.
It had to be. There was many people there with all the dinners.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shelley has written, as usual, a blog post to go along with this, and you can see lots of pictures about what we've been talking about. on the blog and find out more.
Yes, I've got video of the bands up there, so you can see all the light shows and things. And, of course, a few pictures. We kind of got carried away in the moment and didn't take very many pictures at Festas.
That is correct.
So that's one of the few times we're like, we're living in this moment.
Yeah.
Because any other time we have taken a ton of pictures.
We honestly did.
But there'll be another Festas at the end of January.
Yes.
And from what I hear, that one's inside because January is cold.
Cold. I'm going to call it coldish.
I'm going to call it cold.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get down to freezing.
No.
And it doesn't snow.
No.
And all of that.
Still cold.
It's going to be in the 40s, probably.
That's cold.
And maybe in the low 50s during the day.
It's cold.
That's not usually cold for me, but
It's really cold.
Shelley thinks it's really cold. What's our next podcast going to be about, Shelley?
Well, I think we have a holiday coming up. Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Which is sort of celebrated here.
It's sort of celebrated, but what's really more important is the day after Halloween, which is not the Feast of All Souls.
All Souls Day? No, that's what we call it, but they call it something else.
Which we should know.
We should, and we'll tell you in the next podcast.
We're going to talk about what the Halloween and All Souls Day means here, because it's a different holiday than we celebrate in the United States, and talk about that. And then after that, we're going to let you know all about our trip to Florence. Sound like fun?
Sounds like fun.
Yay! So, thank you for joining us this week. And as always, if you have any questions or want to reach out to us, please hit us up on our social media. Click subscribe and follow.
Please, please.
Please, please. And we'll see you next time.
Great.
Boa Tard.
Boa Tard.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you would like to reach out to us or ask questions, you can find us on our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also follow us at our website, www.forus.com. That's www.forus.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Obrigada!